How the city of Harar was named by Harari Freethinkers. Introduction. The Harari people have a lot of love for Harar. This is reflected in the many cultural songs that pay homage to the historical city. The city and its history brings a sense of pride for the Harari people. While today the majority of the Harari people live far away from Harar, for many of them, the ancestral bond they feel to the homeland is still strong. How the city of Harar was named is not well understood. Around the world, places are commonly named after the people who settled in the area or features of the place such as landscape, animals, or vegetation. This article will attempt to uncover how Harar was named by examining its geography, naming practices of related ethnic groups, traditional narratives, and the historical usages of the words Harar and gay. Hypothesis number 1, Harar was named after its topography. It is a little-known fact that Harar is the name of a type of tree in Somalia. The historical Somali city of Harar Dar means the place with the tall Harar trees. In English, a Harar tree is the Terminalia spinosa, or spiny desert tree. The Harar tree is native to East Africa and can be found in Ethiopia, Somalia, Kenya, Sudan, Uganda, and Tanzania. In the video Harar, Ethiopia, Vacation Travel Video Guide by Exposa Travel, you can see many different types of trees in Harar. The further away from the city walls one travels, i.e. into the countryside, the more densely vegetated the landscape becomes. According to modern forestry expert, H. F. Mooney, Ethiopia was densely wooded in ancient and more recent times. However, there is no way to ascertain this. Maybe the city of Harar was also named after its trees? In the video, The Origin of Harari Language, by Harari Harla, a Harari man, says exactly that. He speaks about how there was a tree called Harar and that the city of Harar was named after it. He also mentions how these trees were very special to the Harari people. Naming a location based on its topography is a common method of naming a place. Furthermore, it is believed that the Harla settlement, where one of the Harari's ancestral groups, the Harla people, lived, may have been called Hubut in Arabic and Hubat in Somali. These names were references to the area's topography, a descent from an upward slope, the midpoint between a high point and the low point. Harar was made the capital of the Adal Sultanate in 1520. Current archaeological evidence suggests Harar was built during this time in the 16th century. It makes sense that the new city was also named after the Harar trees, using the same topography-inspired naming convention of the Somalis and Arabs from the Adal Sultanate. Hypothesis number 2, Harar was named after the Harla people. Perhaps Harar was named after the Harla people. In 1979, scholar Zakaria suggested that Harar was named after the Harala, or Harla. As mentioned previously, it is a common naming convention for a place to be named based on the prominent people in the area. Furthermore, in the past, other ethnic groups in the area have borrowed the Harla name to symbolize their relatedness in terms of ancestry or of lifestyle. For example, there is a Somali tribe called Harla, and in Asa, Asada, of the Afar region of Ethiopia, there is a group called Harala. This demonstrates the name as a widespread and noble marker worth preserving for future generations. In the 16th century, when Harar was founded, the Harla people played an instrumental part. Many Harla held leadership positions in the government. Perhaps an influential Harla person named the city after the Harla ethnic/clan group. Hypothesis number 3, Harar was named after its founding date. There is a hypothesis that asserts Sheikh Badr Umar ar-Rida is the one who named the city after making reforms to symbolize the new beginning. It is believed that the name Harar was chosen using the alphanumeric naming system called Hisab al-Jamal. In this Arabic system, each letter in the alphabet is given a numerical value. So, if one adds up the numerical values for the word Harar, as 5 plus 200 plus 200, one arrives at 405 AH, 1014-15 AD. This is the year Sheikh Badr Umar ar-Rida is believed to have arrived in Harar. There are a few issues with this hypothesis, however. Firstly, the date at which Sheikh Badr Umar ar-Rida allegedly arrived in Harar is a point of confusion. While some assert there is a traditional narrative that says Sheikh Badr Umar ar-Rida arrived in 405 AH, 1014-15 AD, the Fath Madinat Harar by Yahya Nasir Allah states he arrived in Harar in 1216 AD. This difference is over 200 years. Another issue comes from the legitimacy of Sheikh Badr's traditional legend itself. However, it is known that Hisab al-Jamal was used to date ancient nations and events during the same century. This hypothesis claims Sheikh Badr arrived in Harar. Regardless, both of these claims conflict with the most recent archaeological evidence that suggests Harar was founded in the 16th century. Though, despite this archaeological evidence, it may be possible that Harar was founded earlier and was destroyed and rebuilt. According to a historical report, there was a city called Gay in the 14th century. This will be discussed in more detail in the next section. Discussion of the term Gay. The city of Harar is not only known as Harar. It is also called Gay or Harar Gay. According to a historical record, there was an Islamic town called Gay that was inhabited by Harla and Arabs. It was apparently destroyed by Abyssinian king Amdasayan in the 14th century. In the Harari language, Gay refers to the specific city of Harar. But historically, it appears the word Gay is a general term meaning land or living place. Interestingly, the original inhabitants of the Wul-Lane people's settlement were called Gay. The term Gay is also related to the Gurage people. The name of the people are thought to be derived from the word Gure, which refers to a place in northern Ethiopia. It is believed that the Harari ancestors lived temporarily in 7 different settlements before settling in Harar: Eskanti Gay, Tokhan Gay, Hassan Gay, Harwe Gay, Rukiya Gay, or Ruhat Gay, Faraka Gay, and Samti Gay, or Kanti Gay. The claim that the Harari have historically lived in many different settlements is supported by other ethnic groups in the area. Some of them have named the Harari people Adare, which is a term derived from the Gez verb adare, meaning, he made a stop, he got settled. Instead of moving from place to place. The term Adare is now considered derogatory. Thus, Amdasayan's reference to the Islamic town of Gay could have been anywhere. It may have been where the current city of Harar is, though this is not supported by current archaeological evidence, or it may have been elsewhere. Conclusion. While it is difficult to declare with certainty who, when, or how Harar got its name, there are many hypotheses that exist. Harar may have been named by the Somali, Arabs or Harla of the Adal Sultanate when Harar was established and made the capital of the empire. They may have named the city to pay tribute to the trees or after the Harla people. Less likely is that Harar was named using the alphanumeric system Hisab al-Jamal by Sheikh Badr Umar ar-Rida.